Hey, how's it going, everyone? We should be live, I believe. So, hope you guys are having a great day so far. Recording this quick episode, quick live video. Just got done filming a ton of exercise tutorials for our one-on-one clients and also people who are not one-on-one clients who are subscribed to our workout app. So far, over the past 2 days, I think I'm up to like 55 different exercises recorded in variations. I did 28 yesterday. 27 today. I'm really excited. I'm going to be recording voiceovers for all of these exercises, like giving you cues and everything of what to focus on with them to make sure you're doing them correctly too, along with obviously the visual video. And those will be uploaded into a resource section for all of our clients and all of our members. But then also, we have a workout app or the app that we use to communicate and everything. Workout programs are uploaded into there too. And these videos will be directly linked to each exercise in the app, which I'm really excited for. There's already videos in there, but some of them aren't the greatest. So these are going to be like a huge upgrade. So I'm super excited for that. But I'm surprised at how how tired I feel like I'm probably burning a ton of extra calories just doing all these, even though I am doing a little bit lighter weight than usual. But a lot of upgrades coming for our one-on-one clients, but then also even for our members. So if you weren't aware, like we have one-on-one coaching, but then you also can subscribe to our workout app. If you don't want one-on-one coaching and you just want to follow the workouts that all of our clients who are getting all these incredible results are following, you can subscribe to that too. So just let me know, send me a DM if you want to sign up for that. Um, but that's what I have going on today. Have a couple of client calls, one-on-one calls today here in about 30-ish minutes. So I'm excited for those. And then I think I'm going to try to get out there and mow the lawn today. The first mowing of the lawn for me this year. The weather is nice and it's getting kind of long, so I'm going to try to take advantage of it. But um, excited to talk about today's topic. And it kind of came up in a conversation with one of our newer clients who she's been in the program for a few weeks, has been making changes. And um, the reason why this conversation kind of sparked up is, and this is one that I've had a lot before actually, in the DMs with people, in conversations with people, conversations obviously with one-on-one clients who have signed up. But the whole like topic of this is basically the difference between eating healthy and eating for fat loss. And I think a lot of people think that these two things are um, completely overlapping or mean the exact same thing when they don't necessarily mean the same thing. And the way this conversation sparked is because with one-on-one coaching, you have unlimited text and voice access to either myself or Katie or both of us, depending on who you're working with, and to ask any questions that you have, right? So this client, she sent over this image of this kind of meat that one of her friends had bought for her, and asked, like, hey, is this like good to eat? Should I be eating this for my goals? And everything like that. So it kind of sparked this conversation of, okay, is this good to eat and in what context? And how does this impact your overall health if you eat this? And how does this impact your fat loss if you eat this? So this kind of meat was a meat that it was, I think it was some kind of Spanish meat. So like the food label was in a different language for one, but also the food label didn't have any nutrition info on it really. Like it didn't have nutrition facts of how many calories were in there, how many grams of protein, what the serving for that calorie and protein numbers technically were. Like there was really nothing. So we had to do some Googling, utilize ChatGPT to kind of see, okay, how many calories are roughly in this thing. And when it comes to eating for overall health versus fat loss, and that's where we kind of led into this because I was like, hey, like this is perfectly fine to include in an overall healthy diet. Like there's no reason why you would have to cut out this specific type of meat for like to live a healthy lifestyle, right? But if you're trying to really control and manipulate and get consistent fat loss progress week after week, maybe it's not the best option to have that often in that context because of a variety of things. So, when it comes to eating for health, there's a few principles we want to follow. One is we want a diet that is mostly minimally processed food. So most food has some kind of processing to it. Even if you buy like even carrots at the store. Like there's probably some level of processing. So very rarely are you going to be able to eat a food that's not processed at all, unless you're like growing it out of your garden, just literally picking it and eating it. And not all processing is bad either. But we want to think about minimally processed foods, foods that are as close as we can get to what their more natural state is. So, like if you buy meat at the store, it's pretty close to like fresh meat, raw meat, pretty close to its original form, other than some processing to make it safer. It can store longer and things like that. Versus if you were to buy like frozen chicken nuggets, right? Those things are farther away from going out and grabbing a chicken and actually eating the meat directly off of a chicken versus like raw chicken breast, right? So we want to pick things that are as close to that natural state as possible. So minimally processed foods is what you would kind of describe that as. Ultra processed foods, so foods that are really processed that have a lot of fat and extra carbs and sodium just added to the food that aren't even naturally in the food. Those are things we don't have to cut out completely, but we want to have a little bit less of those. In most of our foods, 80+%, maybe even 90% of our foods coming from minimally processed foods or foods that aren't processed too much. So that's kind of one principle of healthy, quote unquote, eating. Another principle is we want to have probably 4 to 6 servings at least total of fruits and slash or vegetables. So about 2 to 3 servings each. That's kind of the minimum ballpark range that we want to try to aim for each day. We want to have our meat sources or our protein sources coming from leaner meats probably. So probably not a lot of like fatty red meat, fatty ground beef, not a whole lot of like fatty processed sausages and things like that. Probably the leaner cuts, so they don't have a whole lot of dietary fat in them, which means they're probably going to be a little bit lower in calories. So like lean ground beef, 90% or above, or chicken breast, or tilapia, like lean fish, low fat dairy. Those are things we probably want to lean towards a little bit more too. Another principle of healthy eating regarding protein is if we do have fattier sources of meat, we probably want it to be some kind of fatty fish, if that. A lot of health benefits when it comes to the types of fats that are in fish. So low fat, fatty meats that come from like chicken and beef are probably ideal. And if we do have some kind of fish, that's where we can have that leeway to have a little bit higher fats, and it can be actually really beneficial to do that. Another principle is we probably want to have a high fiber diet. So obviously we're going to get fiber from fruits and vegetables, but we're also going to get fiber from whole grains, carbs that have like seeds in them that are like the whole grain type of bread where it's higher in fiber. Potatoes with the skin on them, so you get some extra fiber there. Brown rice, those whole grain pasta, those are types of carbohydrates that we probably want to have a little bit more in our diet too, that are a little bit closer to that natural state that you would find, in the garden. It doesn't have to be completely in the garden. Like some of these things you're not going to find out there, but they're still really beneficial for us. So don't think you have to avoid everything that you can't actually grow outside in your backyard. But whole grains are what we kind of want to stick to. Whole grains or naturally occurring carbohydrates, things like potatoes with the skin on them. And another kind of addition to this that can help you get some fiber and also some healthy fats are nuts and seeds, which I kind of mentioned in a couple of these examples before, but that's kind of another addition. But that is kind of the crux of healthy eating. 4 to 6 servings of fruits and vegetables, lean meats, except for fatty fish, that could be a more fatty type of meat, nuts and seeds, and whole grain carbohydrates. And that really encompasses, and mostly minimally processed foods. That encompasses like what healthy eating really is there. So like this example that she gave with this meat or this picture she was sending is like this meat was maybe a little bit more processed, but she could definitely fit it in a healthy diet regularly, as long as she's doing all those other things and eating within her calorie balance so she isn't gaining weight. But when it comes to fat loss, those principles are principles we still want to follow because we still want to eat a healthy diet, right? We still want to be healthy on the inside and feel healthy and feel energized on the inside, not deal with any vitamin and mineral deficiencies or anything like that. We also want to make sure that um, we we are just establishing those habits. So then when we don't want to aim for fat loss anymore, we still have healthy eating habits, right? But um, also, too, when we're trying to lose body fat, eating a healthy diet helps us to feel more full as well. So it makes the dieting process or the fat loss phase process more enjoyable, more sustainable because you don't feel as hungry, you don't feel as sluggish along the way, right? Think about if you were to try to lose body fat eating nothing but McDonald's or Snickers, you're going to feel really low energy compared to if you're eating a diet that's plentiful in fruits and vegetables, whole grains, lean meats, a lot of micronutrients and things like that. But just because you eat healthy doesn't mean that you are going to lose body fat. It doesn't mean that like your body should be losing body fat. Because at the end of the day, what body fat reduction comes down to are a couple of key things, but really one key thing, which I actually kind of talked about in my last episode here, which is your overall calorie intake. Protein intake is extremely important too, long term, because if you're under eating on protein, there's a good chance you're going to lose muscle instead of body fat. But really, the most important factor is your calorie intake, but most importantly, both of those things together, hitting your calorie intake or your calorie goal while also hitting your protein intake. So when it comes to eating healthy, you can eat healthy and eat healthy foods and be like, oh, peanuts, nuts, and seeds, that's healthy. Oh, potatoes, those are healthy. Oh, lean meats, those are healthy. Oh, fruits and vegetables, I'm eating those are healthy. Having a little bit of quote unquote processed foods, but most of my foods are coming from healthy sources. You could check off all those boxes, and at the end of the week, at the end of a couple of weeks, at the end of the month, be like, why am I not losing body fat? Like I should be down in body fat. But that's because while your diet is healthy, quote unquote, you're not eating the proper amount. So your total calorie and protein numbers, those numbers numerically, how much you're eating of those things matter so much that you can be eating the most healthy diet in the world. But if you're eating at your calorie maintenance level, eating the same amount that your body burns per day, you're not going to lose body fat. You're just going to maintain your body weight. And this was like a key thing that clicked with her that she never really had anybody explain to her like this. And this is one big reason why she had been spinning her wheels for months and years, honestly, of like, okay, well, I'm working out and I'm eating healthy. Why am I not losing weight or losing body fat? And that's because she didn't have all of the pieces together of, okay, I'm eating healthy, but I'm also staying within my calorie and protein requirements to lose body fat. And these are requirements that aren't going to be there forever. Like the amount you have to eat to lose body fat is different than the amount you have to or get to eat to maintain your body weight. So protein level is going to stay pretty consistent. If you still want to maintain like a lean physique with, a healthy amount of muscle mass on it. But in terms of like losing or gaining body fat or maintaining body fat, like that calorie level changes depending on what your goal is. So what you lose or what you have to eat to lose body fat isn't the exact amount that you have to eat to maintain your body fat level once you get there, which a lot of people don't understand either. They think that if they're eating a certain level to lose it, they're going to have to eat that level to maintain it. But that's not the case, right? If you're actively losing body fat, that means you're eating less than what you burn, which means in order to maintain that, you can actually eat a little bit more, which is a big eye opener, and which is why we implement maintenance days and maintenance breaks and diet breaks within clients' journey. So they learn that and learn what it feels like to do that, which is a really empowering experience when you are able to eat more and realize, okay, I'm not going to gain all this body fat back. And it's super key to do that to learn how to maintain your weight and results long term. But this was a big thing that clicked with her, and a lot of people don't understand this, and this is why finding out how many calories, especially in protein obviously, but especially how many calories your body needs to thrive and feel good, but also to lose the body fat you want is so important. And being able to know what adjustments to make week to week based on how your body's responding to is so key with all of this too. Because what works calorie wise for fat loss today might not be what works 4 weeks from now, or 8 weeks from now, or 12 weeks from now. because as your body loses body fat, the way your body metabolizes things or your metabolism in general will shift a little bit. So you have to know what kind of adjustments to make. It's not like a one-time number you can calculate and then you're golden for the rest of your life. But knowing that number and connecting, okay, combining healthy eating with eating for fat loss, those two different categories is where you see the best potential. It's almost like a Venn diagram, right? Where you have two circles and they intersect in the middle. On one side are all these principles to eating healthy. On the other side are all these principles for eating for fat loss, which is simply enough protein and in a deficit. And then in the middle, where these things kind of combine, is where that sweet spot is where you want to be. Because there are people who have lost a significant amount of weight. There's people who have done like their own self experiments where they've eaten McDonald's every single day, but they kept their calories super low and only ate maybe once a day of McDonald's, and they lost body fat consistently over time. So just remember that if you are eating healthy or you have been eating healthy for a long period of time and you're not seeing changes in your body composition, it's because eating healthy isn't necessarily enough to elicit change. You can maintain your weight really well. You can maintain your current health really well. You can even improve your health by eating healthier, depending on what your current diet looks like. But when it comes to actual fat loss, changing your body composition directly, and being able to actually control that and pull these levers week to week to go into a fat loss phase for a couple of months, see 6 to 8 pounds of fat loss, go into maintenance for a couple of weeks, maintain that perfectly, go into another fat loss phase for another couple of months and lose 6 to 8 pounds of body fat after that, and then go into maintenance for 3 months over the summer and maintain your weight perfectly. In order to pull those levers and have complete control over how your body composition changes, you can't just eat healthy and expect that to happen. You have to have that other layer of detail in there too and put those two things together. So hopefully this was helpful and eye-opening. Be on the lookout for a really big announcement coming in the next couple of weeks. Katie and I have been discussing some things we want to do in the beginning of May, maybe something for Mother's Day. Not going to go into too much detail yet because we haven't obviously announced it yet, but be on the lookout. You're definitely not going to want to miss this. So that's about it for today, and I will see you guys in the next one.